Did you know that controlling high blood pressure after 60 can be simpler than it seems? In this video, we reveal the 5 most powerful foods, scientifically proven, that help reduce blood pressure naturally. In addition, you will discover simple habits, real tips, and emotional care that make all the difference in old age. If you or someone you love suffers from high blood pressure, this content can transform your routine. Watch until the end and discover that your plate can be your greatest ally against this silent evil. Call to action, CTA. Take care of your heart with simple choices. Subscribe to the channel for more health, longevity, and vitality tips after 60. Have you ever heard the phrase, blood pressure is the silent evil? Well, it is. But for those over 60, this is no longer just a medical saying and has become a real, urgent, and daily warning. It's waking up with a heavy head, feeling your heart race after a short walk, or noticing your hands tingling for no apparent reason. What few people say is that high blood pressure doesn't appear suddenly. It builds up, accumulates, and feeds on silent habits that we repeat over the years. But the good news is that with the right choices, it's possible to turn this game around. And we're not talking about magic solutions, but rather about real, affordable foods that, when put on your plate every day, can make the difference between living in fear or living with ease. High blood pressure, or hypertension, occurs when blood vessels become narrow, forcing the heart to work harder to pump blood. Over time, this affects everything: the brain, the kidneys, the eyes, the heart. This is why hypertension is one of the main risk factors for heart attacks and strokes. And what many people don't know is that after the age of 60, the risk almost doubles, especially among those who don't adapt their diet. The first powerful food that helps control blood pressure naturally is raw beetroot, or freshly juiced beetroot. It is rich in natural nitrates, which when ingested are transformed into nitric oxide in the body. This compound relaxes and dilates blood vessels, facilitating circulation and reducing blood pressure. Studies show that drinking a glass of beetroot juice a day can reduce systolic blood pressure by up to 5 millimeters of mercury, a real difference for those who live with dangerous levels. But be careful, the juice should be fresh, without added sugar, and preferably consumed on an empty stomach or before meals. The second ally is raw garlic, especially when crushed and left to rest for a few minutes before consumption. This activates allicin, a substance with strong vasodilatory and antihypertensive action. A study published in the scientific journal Integrated Blood Pressure Control showed that capsules of aged garlic had effects comparable to some common high blood pressure medications. Now imagine the power of including fresh garlic every day, in seasoned olive oil, crushed in rice, or even in small doses with a salad. It's a natural remedy straight from the garden, and with cumulative effects. The third food is avocado, often avoided by those who are afraid of fat, but which actually provides the right kind of fat. Avocado is rich in potassium, and this mineral is essential for balancing sodium in the body. Brazilians consume too much salt and not enough potassium, and this creates an imbalance that favors hypertension. Avocado is also a source of oleic acid, which contributes to the health of the arteries. A serving of avocado in the morning or at night can help keep blood pressure under control, in addition to benefiting cholesterol and the brain. The fourth force against high blood pressure is flaxseed. Small, discreet, but powerful. Flaxseed is rich in plant-based omega-3 and fiber that help reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and lower blood pressure. A study conducted in Canada with hypertensive patients showed that daily consumption of about 30 grams of ground flaxseed reduced blood pressure by up to 10 millimeters of mercury after 6 months. The tip is to grind it freshly, sprinkle it on juices, yogurts, fruits, or even beans. The effect is not immediate, but consistent. And finally, the fifth food that deserves a daily presence in the life of those who want to reduce their blood pressure naturally is pure cocoa, or rather, dark chocolate with a high concentration of cocoa, over 70%. The flavonoids in cocoa have a vasodilatory effect, improve circulation, and reduce arterial stiffness. A small square a day, especially in the late afternoon, can offer real cardiovascular benefits. But be careful, regular chocolate full of sugar and milk will not do. It is the cocoa that does the work, and the purer, the better. The combination of these 5 foods, beetroot, garlic, avocado, flaxseed, and cocoa, creates a natural shield for the body against the silent effects of hypertension. But none of these works in isolation. They need to be part of a context of change. Reduce salt intake, avoid ultra-processed foods, quit smoking, and above all, walk. Yes, the body needs movement. A stopped heart is a heart under pressure. And perhaps most importantly, pay attention to your body. High blood pressure almost never gives you early warning symptoms. That's why it's essential to measure it frequently, record it, and observe patterns. The simple habit of writing down your morning and evening readings gives your doctor a much more reliable basis for adjusting your treatment. Hypertension doesn't have to define your life story. With consistent choices, your body adapts, your blood vessels open, your blood flows better, and so does your life. Your food can be your best medicine, and each meal is a new chance to start over. What few people realize is that high blood pressure is not an isolated problem. It is a reflection of everything that has accumulated in life. Stress that has never been resolved, sleepless nights, fears that have been swallowed in silence, eating in a hurry, not taking breaks. And most importantly, the mistaken idea that getting older means accepting pain as a natural part of the journey. It doesn't. After 60, the body speaks louder. But that doesn't mean it's crying out for help. Sometimes it's just asking for care that has been forgotten for a long time. And that's where a secret that doctors rarely talk about comes in, but that makes all the difference in controlling hypertension in old age: the emotional quality of your routine. Studies show that chronic stress can raise blood pressure even in people with an adequate diet. And when we talk about stress in the elderly, we also talk about loneliness, loss, and anxiety, disguised as fatigue. That's why learning to deal with emotions, creating moments of relaxation, and seeking social connections are just as important as any medicine. Meditating, listening to calming music, walking outdoors, talking to someone who really listens. These are invisible but powerful therapies. Another essential point is sleep. A bad night's sleep can significantly increase blood pressure the next day. The reason? During deep sleep, the body regulates hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which are responsible for keeping blood pressure under control. When sleep is interrupted or superficial, these levels become unregulated, and the heart has to work harder. Therefore, maintaining a calm nighttime routine, without the television on, without a cell phone in bed, and drinking a calming tea such as chamomile or lemon balm is part of the natural treatment. Many seniors also face another silent obstacle: lack of water. Mild and constant dehydration causes the blood to become thicker, requiring more effort from the heart to circulate. This raises blood pressure, but is easily avoidable. 2 liters of water a day, spread out over time, makes a huge difference. If you have trouble remembering, use marked water bottles, set alarms on your cell phone, or associate the habit with your meal routine. Now, perhaps the most overlooked factor of all: eating posture. Eating quickly, standing up, watching television, or in moments of anger can alter the response of the autonomic nervous system, directly affecting blood pressure. Eating mindfully, chewing well, breathing deeply, sitting at the table, and being at peace with yourself may seem trivial, but it is a hidden key to controlling blood pressure. But let's go further. A little-known but increasingly studied natural ally is hibiscus tea. Rich in anthocyanins and flavonoids, it helps relax blood vessels and has a mild diuretic effect, which reduces the volume of fluid in the body and, consequently, blood pressure. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that people who consumed hibiscus tea for 6 weeks had a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure. The recommendation is 1 to 2 cups per day, always freshly prepared, with dried flowers, without sugar. Another powerful component that deserves a place in the diet of those who want to protect their heart is magnesium, found in foods such as spinach, bananas, nuts, pumpkin seeds, and black beans. Magnesium helps relax the muscles in the walls of blood vessels, promoting dilation and proper blood flow. Many people with hypertension have low levels of this mineral and don't even know it. Therefore, varying foods rich in magnesium is a smart and safe way to protect your cardiovascular system. And finally, a reminder that needs to be said: medication is not defeat. Taking blood pressure medication does not mean failure. It means responsibility. The ideal treatment is always a balance between medication and attitude, and often over time, as habits improve, the doctor may even reduce or suspend medication. But this only happens with consistency, not with miracle formulas. Living with controlled blood pressure is possible. More than possible, it is a right. Life after 60 does not need to be marked by limitations. It can be light, active, full of meaning. But to do so, you need to listen to your body, respect its rhythms, and be careful with your choices. Because each spoonful of food is also a gesture of self-love. And because the heart, that muscle that beats for you without asking for anything in return, deserves the best fuel, balance, care, and hope. Today you learned about 5 powerful foods, simple habits, and natural secrets that make a difference. But the most important step is still yours. Choosing whether tomorrow you will repeat the same patterns, or whether you will build a new routine, lighter, healthier, and freer. After all, whoever takes care of blood pressure takes care of life. Take care of your heart with simple choices. Subscribe to the channel for more health, longevity, and vitality tips after 60. Comment, which of these foods do you already eat on a daily basis?